What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. It's your host, Derek, here, and of course, Matt over to the left of me. And underneath
How you
both of
doing?
us right now, we have 2023 125-pound All-American coming from Lockhaven, Anthony Noto. Anthony, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing swell, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Obviously, first off, we want to say congratulations on your performance. I know you're probably thinking job's not done, but obviously, you did absolutely incredible this season.
Thank you.
So, Anthony, we'll get right into it. You're a New York kid, a four-time state champ out of New York. What kind of got you started? When did you start your career? Who got you started?
Um, I remember I used to play soccer back in my day, and there was a wrestling flyer in my middle school, and my dad back then used to wrestle, and I used to hear kind of stories about it, and I had really no idea what it was, and I brought the flyer home, and I was like, I want to try wrestling. My dad's like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to try it." And then basically ever since then, that's where it started my career. I started in fifth grade, and ever since then, I fell in love with the sport.
And we hear a lot of that fifth grade's kind of late. A
Yeah.
lot of these top guys they start 3 and 4 years old. But fun fact, Vito Ruggia, who we just had on earlier today, also started wrestling in fifth grade. So it
Yeah.
must be something about that fifth grade year that just creates some dog wrestlers. But what was that like for you? Obviously in New York, the rules are a little different than here in PA or Matt's from New Jersey. So obviously, you could start on varsity. What is it, seventh and eighth, or just eighth?
I think Seventh it's and eighth. seventh grade. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
was that something that you did? Were you quick to be pulled up to varsity, or did you kind of just do like your freshman to senior year?
Yeah. I was too small my seventh grade year. I was only like 80 pounds, so I had to wait till I was a freshman.
And I mean, obviously, coming into your freshman year, obviously, what was that like for you? Obviously making it all the way to the state finals.
I was big. I mean, I was the fourth seed when I got to the tournament. I was pretty undersized. I only weighed like when the weight class was 99. I probably was like 95 pounds, maybe eating what I wanted. Making the state finals, I mean, that was a big accomplishment because the kid in the semis I lost to before the state tournament. So when I beat him, I was kind of pumped to make the state finals.
Yeah, and then I mean, you go ahead and fire off another three right after that. Um, you originally, decide that you want to take your talent to NC State. You do your redshirt freshman year there, and then what kind of made you decide, that wasn't somewhere you wanted to be, and you wanted to go ahead and make a trip to PA?
It wasn't a fit for me. Kind of got homesick. I was kind of far away from home. Wasn't able to go home for the holidays, and I'm kind of more like a country guy. I like the view and the mountains and stuff, and that's what happened.
Mhm. Well, obviously, you find your way to Lockhaven, and what kind of stuck out for you for Lockhaven? A lot of people when they say PA college wrestling, they're thinking of Penn State, they're thinking of Pitt, but what kind of pulled Lockhaven out of the rest of the group? I'm sure you had more than just Lockhaven looking at you when you decided to transfer.
Um, I chose Lockhaven because small. It's a little bit smaller school, and the coaches. I mean, right when I got here, they were like helping me out, very supportive, always had my back since day one. And what I like about it is that like they are willing to work with you and they put their time in you.
It's awesome. Yeah, being at Lockhaven, I mean, you have a bunch of accolades, like in high school, fourth time, obviously, and then you also this year were the MAC Freshman of the Year, and then you're a two-time MAC champ. How does that feel?
I mean, it feels great. I mean, just knowing that all the hard work I'm putting in is paying off and it's showing when I go out there and perform. I mean, it
Yeah, I
means a
mean,
lot.
clearly.
Yeah.
Last year you had a nice 29 match win streak. Ended the season 31-3, and then this year another impressive season, 34-4.
Yeah.
And then just being in that tournament being the 8 seed and rising to the top.
Yeah, it was good. All the hard work is paying off.
And then I know you also like to wrestle like the Olympic style, freestyle.
Mhm.
And you were U23 57 kilogram champ. So what would you say you like better? You like folk style, you like freestyle, you like a little bit of both?
I like a little bit of both. If I had to pick, I'd probably pick freestyle because I'm kind of better in those funky scrambling positions. I have like the way I wrestle, like I'm kind of quick in those positions, so I like freestyle a bit better. And you can go for big moves, throw people
Yeah.
on their head if you want. So
Mhm. I think one of the biggest things, for you this year, I know at least moments wise was you're at that national tournament and, looking at the bracket, you had to know you were going to have to get through Spencer Lee.
yeah.
It was inevitable you were going to meet him and, sadly you dropped the match, but you did put him on his back and you did get some backs. You did get back.
Four. You got four.
Got a full set of backs. Was there any moment in your mind where you were like, holy crap, I might pin this kid?
Yeah, I was like, in the flash of the moment, I was like, "Oh my god, I got the best wrestler in the country on his back right now."
And you're
Like,
getting
I was kind of
swipes.
shocked.
Not even
Yeah.
like a roll through to his back. You got a full set of four. And
Mhm.
then, the tournament plays out the way it does. Spencer Lee falls to Matt Ramos. And there you are in fourth place on the national podium. And looking up at you from sixth place is Spencer Lee.
Mhm.
Now, is that something that you would have ever thought would have happened at nationals going into it?
Not really, but the way I think about it is, I think seeds is just a number. I think anybody's beatable, and that's how you got to go in that tournament. You just can't be like, "Oh, I got the 1 seed." I mean, you could be the 30th seed, knock off number 1 seed. I mean, that's just a number. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you seem very determined. You seem like you have a great mentality. Like, what was your drive going into this season?
my drive was after last year dropping, going to the nationals, going 1 and 2. I knew I had more to prove than that, and my drive this year was I wanted to make a statement that even when you're at a small school, you could achieve big, like accomplish a lot of things. You don't have to be at a big top 10 school to be a national champ.
You wanted to make a statement, and that you did.
Uh,
Yes, I
Definitely.
mean, looking at the national tournament, I mean, was there anything, obviously you went 1 and 2. So what in the off season this year did you really focus on to kind of transition into I'm gonna be an All-American this year, nothing's gonna stop me?
um, biggest thing was holding better position. Head position was the biggest thing. I was not in my stance and more hand fighting would set up my attacks. That was the biggest thing I focused on in the off season, and I did that all off season. It worked at the national tournament.
Absolutely. And would you say anything non-wrestling related that you focused on that helped elevate you to that next level?
Diet. I think that my diet was on point this year. I had a lot of energy and I never got tired. And I think that was one of the biggest things too, is eating the right things to make my body have a lot of energy.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
is
awesome.
there really a weight cut for you? Are you someone who cuts weight or are you walking around kind of a little bit towards 25?
My last year, I kind of walked around at 132, and then in the off season, I kind of put a little more muscle on. So like, I kind of was like 138, 139 before the season. So it's kind of a little bit of a cut, but not too bad.
No, yeah. So were you cutting that like every week, 12, 13 pounds, or was that
No,
like
no,
one cut and then you maintained through the rest of the season?
yeah, it was one big cut, and then I maintained. I like stayed around 132, 133 with my diet. So,
Awesome, good to hear. Because I know
Yeah,
obviously you weren't somebody who was huge in high school. You're not a
mhm.
40, a 38 or a 45 pounder cutting down to 25. So I mean, obviously, you looked great this year. You really did. Nobody gassed you out. You went almost what did a full match with Spencer Lee, and you looked like you had your foot on the gas the whole time.
Mhm.
Now, are
Yeah.
you somebody who trains like a lot of cardio, or does that just come with your wrestling?
Uh, Usually with a lot of wrestlers, you do a lot of live goes, and then like right after that, live goes will jump on the bike and do some bike sprints, keep my endurance keep going, keep my heart rate up. usually comes with wrestling.
All right. So you plan to stay in this weight for next year, of course. And what about this off season? Give us a little insight of what you got planned or what you're gonna do.
This off season, this week I'm resting right now, and then I'm gonna start jumping right to freestyle. I'm gonna compete at U23s again. I think it's in June. I think June 1st, the first week of June. Yeah, just train freestyle, keep my diet on point, and looking to win a natty title next year. That's my goal. Put the work in to do it.
It's a good goal to have,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. I don't, obviously I don't know off top hand who's returning, but I mean, you have to be the one of the two returner. I mean,
Hmm.
guys that placed on that podium, I think Glory's done. I think Spencer's most likely done. I mean, who knows what his knees are like? I know he looked a little banged up this year, the way it
Yeah.
was, but I mean, you got to be thinking that if it's you could be if you win out, the whole regular season next year, you could be looking sitting at the 1 seed next year's
Hmm.
tournament. I mean, and that's going to be huge. I know obviously bringing home a national title to Lockhaven would be something, incredible for that smaller program and kind of put it on the map.
Yeah, that'd be big. That'd make me feel awesome.
But
Yeah,
I bet.
absolutely. Who would you say is your biggest like either rival or opponent in like even this last season or previous seasons?
My biggest rival. You know what? I don't think I have a rival. I would say my biggest opponent is I think my mind. I think my mind can get the best of me sometimes. I overthink a lot. That would be my biggest. I mean, this year I told myself that I'm gonna be an All-American this year, and when I told myself that, I just felt I was firing, firing, firing. I had all energy in the world. So if I had to say, I'd say my mind's my biggest competitor out of everybody.
That's a great answer.
That is a
Yeah.
really good answer. Now, in your opinion, what like through your entire career so far, from high school all the way to now in college, what was your favorite match you wrestled? Do you think it was that full, obviously, the last weekend at nationals, or was it, you getting your hand raised for that last time in high school, winning your 4 state title?
Oh, that's hard. My goal was to be a four-time New York State champ. I would have to probably say my last match in high school was winning for my fourth time. That'd be my favorite memory right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think my next new memory would be getting my hand raised in the national finals. That would be my next one. So
Awesome, man.
Yeah, that's
Awesome,
awesome.
awesome, awesome. Obviously, we talk a lot about wrestling, but what's a day in your life look like at Lockhaven? We want to hear, from start to finish, just an average day during the season for you. What's that like?
average day, you get up at 6:30. We have a 6:30 a.m. lift till like 7:30. Go to class from 8:30 to 12. Come back, eat, go to practice from 3:30 to 5, and then homework at school, and I just repeat that basically every day.
And I know you said, your diet was a big thing. So if there's any, 120-pounders in high school out there listening right now, what's some of your diet tips that you could tell them, kind of keep it going, keep the gas tank full?
Stay away from carbs because carbs hold water. That's the one thing I found out this year. A lot of protein and a lot of water, and stay away from sugar. Sugars was my weakness. My last year that was my weakness, and then I cut the sugar out. And I felt amazing this year. So
So there you
that's it.
go. To all the people out there listening right now, that are trying to get ready for next season, cut out the sugar, cut out the carbs.
Yeah,
A lot of protein, a lot of water.
yeah.
Definitely.
So what's like a day of eating for you? What do you consume to stay at 25?
Uh, so day eating, I'll wake up, have a glass of water with half a cup of oats with uh one whole egg, and then 1 cup egg whites, and then I'll do after that's my breakfast. Then throughout the day for snack, I do a 4-ounce protein shake with with water, no milk. Lunch, I would do 5 ounces of chicken with half a cup of rice with asparagus. Then I would go to practice and come back. eat that again, same meal. And then I could do like fish for my dinner, usually 5 ounce fish with asparagus and rice again. That's basically what I
Now,
ate my season.
now I know like obviously a lot of these big name schools, these schools that got, millions and millions of dollars into the wrestling program, they get like all these team doctors and they're making these special diet plans. Now, is that something that you have at Lockhaven, somebody making you this like diet plan, or is this just something you kind of went out and learned on your own?
No, actually, my girlfriend's dad, he's a nutritionist on the side, and he
Uh,
helped me do this.
That's
So
good.
kind of
Awesome.
got lucky. Kind of got lucky with that.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice thing to have somebody helping you out in that department. Well, I
Hmm.
mean, so Anthony, tell us a little bit about yourself. Other than wrestling, what kind of, keeps the mind off of, the hard matches that you lost and stuff like that. What do you do outside of wrestling?
I like to hang out with my team, do like team activities. I'm a big fisherman. I like to hunt. I'm a big hunter. Um, I play video games here and there when I have free time. That's basically it. Keep my mind off wrestling. Like sometimes I go home on the weekend because this is only like 2 hours away from my house. And I go fish, hang out with my friends. So
That's great. I mean,
It's good to hear.
are you a bow or a rifle or both?
both, both.
Do you have a preference? Like, do you like one better?
If I had to pick, probably bow. It's more of a challenge. Kind of like it. It's more of a challenge.
You like the challenges, all right?
Solid answer. So, obviously you being from New York and then you going all the way out to NC State and then you coming to PA, what was there any kind of like difficulties, that you had to go through, moving all the way out to NC State and then coming all the way back here to PA?
Yeah, getting my stuff all from NC State to PA. That's probably the hardest thing.
Yeah. Because I mean,
And
I'm sure you moved most of your stuff out there with you. I mean,
yeah, I moved a lot and then just adapting to my new home, basically getting along with the coaches, making new friends. That was probably the hardest.
Yeah, I can imagine. But since you've been in New York, you've been in PA, where would you rank New York wrestling against other states?
uh, I wouldn't say they're the best. I'd say if I had to say out of the top 10, maybe we're like New York's maybe like 6, 5. I think PA is probably 1 or 2. I know New Jersey's got a lot, some hammers that come out of there. So yeah, I'd probably say like 6, maybe.
All right. I mean, well,
right.
you're coming out of New York, can't be bad.
I
Yeah.
am.
You, Vito, Yanni, Ja'Cory Teamer, all
Yep.
four of you guys. Now, did you have any kind of relationships with any of those guys out there with, Yanni, Greg, any of them like that?
Yeah, actually, me, Yanni, and Greg, and Ryan Burgos, we all used to train together. I mean, that's how. And Vito too. He's come up to G2 sometimes. We all used to train.
So what was it
So
like for you, wrestling at nationals and you kind of getting that opportunity to see Yanni win his fourth title and you see Vito get his first? Is it nice to see those guys that you kind of grew up with and trained with, succeeding?
yeah, I was happy for both of them. I know they worked very hard to achieve their goals, and I was just happy to know that I was like there with them to achieve it. So I was happy for them.
Now, obviously,
That's
a
awesome.
little unexpected twist. It's never happened before at NCAAs. You got to meet the former president of the United States.
Hmm.
Now, talk about that a little bit. What was that like for you? Was that pretty exciting?
Oh yeah, that had to probably be like one of the best moments. I got to shake his hand. He talked to me a little bit. That was awesome.
Yeah, I know. We heard a lot of positive things so far from everybody that wrestled at nationals. That said they had a very nice time talking with him, and he had some good words for them. And it's nice to hear that he was there and got to kind of witness a lot of, obviously he got to witness a four time. And that
Hmm.
doesn't happen at every tournament. So it's kind of cool that, he was there with Yanni. I know Vito said that he was very nice to him and his whole family.
Hmm. Yeah, he's a very respected guy.
So,
Yeah, that's
obviously,
awesome.
you were there at the tournament, and what was that moment like when, when Ramos, did what he did? Did the whole place go crazy? Was it kind of silent in there for a second? What was it like?
It was right after my match All American. I got off the mat and I looked over because they're still wrestling and there's like 35 seconds left. And Ramos was down like 7-4. I remember he hit that little gator roll thing and the place went nuts. Like it was loud. Like that had to be the loudest I heard the arena.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. I
that's
could
crazy.
only imagine. Is that someone you like want to wrestle, Ramos?
Yeah. I wanted a shot at Ramos next year.
If you had to give us a top three about people you want, anyone who you
And
want
this
to
could be
wrestle.
free. Are you? Or do you plan on wrestling freestyle this off season?
Yeah.
So that could be people that are wrestling going for the U. If you going for the U23 world team, anything like that. Who is 3 matches you want within the next year?
I would want Ramos. And then it depends who's wrestling and freestyle. Trying to think. I don't know if Vito's gonna stay at 33. That'd be nice to try to wrestle off Vito. Probably those two.
What you
But
don't
I
want?
got
Do you want another shot at Courtney?
yeah. If he wrestles freestyle, yeah. Probably yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'd do Courtney and Ramos.
Courtney and Ramos. I think that would be an exciting. I think that'd be a good match for you versus Ramos. I think. You had the ability to put Lee on his back. Ramos had the
Mhm.
ability to put Lee on his back. I think it'd be a really good matchup for you. And obviously next season, it could definitely happen
Yeah.
at
Never know.
nationals. So obviously looking forward, to this next NCAA season. What is not even just your personal goal. What's the team goal? Because I know Lockhaven, they always end up seeming like they have 1 or 2 really good guys and that really make a statement at nationals. Do you think that, in the next couple of years, Lockhaven's whole team is going to become, really put the school on the map?
Yeah, I think the next couple of years, our team's gonna be probably in the top 10 at nationals. That's our goal. That's our goal. Be top 10. I think in the next couple of years it's possible.
Is there anybody special you want to give a shout that you think is going to make a huge strive next season?
Yeah, my training partner Gable Strickland. I think he's gonna shock some people next year.
It's funny you say that because Gable Strickland actually wanted when we asked the community for questions for you, who is the greatest practice partner?
Yeah, probably Gable Strickland. He pushes me a lot in that practice room, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be on the podium this year.
There you go,
That's
Gable
awesome.
Strickland. I hope you listened to this podcast. You submitted your question to us, and he answered it with absolute class.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
we did a good deep dive. We talked a lot about wrestling, talked about your whole career. So now for about the next 10, 15 minutes, we're just going to let the community get to know you. We got some, not super wrestling related questions for you, and then we'll close it out.
Sounds good.
All right, Matthew, if you want to go ahead and start us
All
off.
right. First, what is your go-to post-weigh-in meal?
Pancakes would be my post weigh meal.
Chocolate chips, blueberry, plain? What are we thinking?
Just plain with syrup.
All right.
And speaking of, we'll stick on the food topic here. What
Yeah.
is your go-to season's over, that one meal that you've just been craving the whole year?
Probably pasta and meatballs.
Yeah. But you come
Yeah.
from an Italian background, so I'm not surprised by that answer.
Yeah.
What is your favorite type of meat?
Yeah,
People want to know.
that was another fan question. Somebody
Yeah.
wanted to know what your favorite type of meat is.
Oh man. Probably salami or prosciutto. Those two. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys know what that is,
yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, definitely.
So obviously you're a big hunter. Where does deer land on that? Are you a big deer
Some
eater?
venison.
oh yeah, venison. Yeah, it's top 3. The
Top 3.
salami.
Top 3. All right.
Yeah.
It's definitely good. Um, Derek, do you have any other fan questions there?
Let me check. 1 second. I know we had some not valuable ones. 1 second. A lot of people just want to know, is there any possibility of you leaving Lockhaven? I'm assuming the answer is going to be no, but no.
Not anytime soon, no.
You found your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Definitely.
Yeah. I get a lot of people were wondering, in your opinion, what are the benefits of you going to a smaller school like Lockhaven compared to going to NC State, Rutgers, Penn State?
That small community, your name is well known, and that it's everybody's basically like family here. Like it's not too big. Like everybody's got your back, and the coaches support you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you do any like visualizing, like clearing your head and taking a moment
Before my matches, or just
before your matches? Even a couple days before a big tournament or a big match, like take a
yeah,
second, run through it in your head.
yeah. Like after practice, I would work on positions after practice, and then I'd sit down and visualize it, like how I'm gonna do in the match. Like if he reaches, I'll post here, or do this and that. So yeah.
And do you think that
Yeah.
that has helped you kind of prepare and kind of perform a little bit better?
Yeah, I feel like it gets me ready. So like in the match when it happens, I could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go now." Like here's the post I just visualized before the match. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
And
And then
I know you said sugar is your kind of your vice. What would your favorite flavor of ice cream be?
oh, probably it used to be chocolate. I'd probably say chocolate chip cookie dough would probably be my number one now.
A lot of chocolate chip cookie dough in the off season.
um obviously, wrestling is obviously your biggest, sport that you've done, but was there anything else that you did in high school that, you enjoyed?
Uh yeah, I mean it wasn't like a team sport, like part of the school or anything, but like I'd like play basketball like after school with my friends, or football, or baseball. We used to hit the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
Always
And then
active.
um we have one final question that we have asked every single guest so far on every episode of the podcast. It's the final question. After this, we will wrap it up. You could take 3 of your teammates with you into the zombie apocalypse. Who would it be, and why would you choose the 3?
I have to pick Gable Strickland because he's a hunter. He knows how to survive out there. I'd pick Ashton Eiler because he's so funny that he'd get my mind off that we're even in a zombie apocalypse. And the last one, oh man, Tyler Stoltzfus. He's another hunter, so I think we'd be pretty good.
A solid answer.
Yeah.
Solid answers. Anthony, we appreciate, you giving us your time for a little bit. You know, Obviously you have great things ahead of you. You're pretty young still on the scale. So, you got a couple of years left, a couple more tries to get that, top of the podium. And we hope next year we have you on and we introduce you as Anthony Noto NCAA champ.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
plan.
All right. Well, guys, it's been another great episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast with Anthony Noto. If you guys, care to check him out, is there anything you want to give a quick shout out before we get off?
Yeah, not even a shout out. I just say that all for the younger wrestlers, that if you guys listen to this, that your mind is your biggest opponent. Just believe, and you could become so much more than you think you could.
Well, there you
Wise
go.
words.
Wise words from the All-American Anthony Noto from Lockhaven University. Thank you, everybody who's listening to this right now. We appreciate you. And obviously, Anthony, congratulations again on your performance. An incredible performance this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, like I said, it's been another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. We'll see you guys later.